Beloved, I speak to you now with the urgency of a trumpet blast at dawn. In the next 24 hours, your purse, whether the leather one you carry in your hand or the invisible one you carry in the treasury of your consciousness, can overflow without end. This is not a poetic exaggeration, not the wishful dream of one hoping for a lucky turn, but a decree anchored in the unshakable law of supply. For my God shall supply all your need according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:19. And those riches are not rationed, not delayed, not stored in vaults to which you have no key. They are here now, moving in invisible currents, ready to take form as money, as opportunity, as unexpected channels of provision. But the law moves in response to recognition, and until you declare the purse full, it will appear to you as empty. The magic purse is not merely an object. It is a symbol, a living emblem that tells your subconscious, supply is infinite, and it flows to me now. When you speak into that purse, whether aloud or silently, you are not talking to fabric and thread. You are addressing the infinite storehouse within, instructing it to pour forth into form. And I tell you this, when your word is spoken with faith, the outer must rearrange to match the inner decree. Money that seemed delayed will be released, avenues you thought closed will open, and provision will appear in ways so perfect you will know they were ordered by the hand of God alone. Stand ready, for as we walk through this message together, you will receive the exact affirmation that turns your purse into a channel of divine riches, and you will not only speak it, you will watch it work. You are not broke, you are blocking the flow. I say this with love, but with the firmness of one who has seen too many live beneath their divine privilege, because they have mistaken a temporary appearance for an eternal truth. Poverty is not a condition decreed by God. It is the shadow cast when the mind turns away from the source. Money is not absent from your life because the supply has failed. It is absent because the channel of your consciousness has been narrowed by fear, by resentment, by the habit of speaking lack into every conversation and rehearsing shortage in every thought. When you tell yourself you are broke, you are, in truth, placing a padlock on the gates of your own abundance. You are commanding the current to slow, the inflow to halt, the river of God's provision to pool up behind the dam of your disbelief. I tell you plainly, remove the block and the flow will return instantly, for the stream has never ceased to run. It is as constant and inevitable as the tide. The magic purse is your instrument for unblocking, for retraining the subconscious to expect only fullness, only overflow. Each time you open it with a word of gratitude and a declaration of plenty, you widen the channel through which the supply rushes in. But you must stop contradicting yourself. You cannot bless the purse in the morning and curse your finances in the afternoon. You cannot affirm, "My purse is full," while secretly nursing the belief that there is never enough. Today, we will tear out that double-mindedness by the root and replace it with the single eye Jesus spoke of. The unwavering focus on supply as infinite, immediate, and already yours. You are not a beggar scraping for coins. You are the steward of a treasury connected to the limitless riches of the kingdom. The moment you know this and act as though it were true, your purse will prove it. Money is God in action, the visible, tangible, materialized form of divine circulation, and it moves unerringly toward the consciousness that welcomes it without fear, without guilt, without the poison of unworthiness. You have been taught to see money as something separate from spirit, as though it were a carnal necessity to be endured rather than a divine provision to be embraced. But I tell you this, money is simply the servant of the law, the obedient messenger carrying substance from the invisible into the visible, from the kingdom's storehouse into your hands. It is not greedy to welcome it, it is godly to steward it, for in stewarding it, you prove the faithfulness of God's supply and become a channel for blessing others. The law is precise. What you prepare room for will come, and what you shut the door to cannot enter. If your heart is locked by fear, your tongue speaks words of lack, your imagination pictures unpaid bills and dwindling accounts, you are quite literally telling the substance of God, there is no place for you here. But when you see money as the action of God, moving, flowing, multiplying, bringing harmony to the affairs of life, and when you keep your purse, both inner and outer, open in gratitude, you become irresistible to the current of supply. Think of it as a river seeking the lowest open channel. It rushes naturally toward the place prepared for it. Prepare your consciousness, bless the very idea of money, Welcome it as you would a trusted friend sent to help fulfill your divine assignment. When you understand this, you stop chasing money and start attracting it, not by toil, not by anxious grasping, but by aligning your mind with the truth that all the wealth of heaven is seeking a willing instrument. And I tell you, when you become that instrument, your magic purse is no longer a poetic image, but a living reality, always full, always replenished, always ready to meet the need at hand. What would change, beloved, if you knew, not hoped, not wished, but knew that your purse could never empty? Sit with that vision for a moment, and let it fill the chambers of your imagination. Picture yourself opening that purse at any hour of the day, for any righteous need, and finding it always full, bills folding crisply into your hand, coins gleaming, the weight and sound of provision answering you without hesitation. Imagine the quiet confidence with which you would live if the fear of running out was erased from your vocabulary, if the thought of not enough never again darkened the door of your mind. How differently would you walk into the marketplace? How boldly would you say yes to the opportunities God places before you? How joyfully would you give when you see a need, knowing that the act of giving only proves the law that the purse refills instantly? This is not a fantasy. It is the exact consciousness. The magic purse affirmation is designed to create a consciousness that refuses to equate outer appearance with inner truth. You see, the purse in your hand is a symbol, but the real purse is your consciousness, and when that inner purse is conditioned to believe in endless supply, the outer must obey and reflect it. The law of manifestation is mercilessly consistent. As within, so without. If the within is full, the without must overflow. If the within fears emptiness, the without will mirror that fear and lack. So I ask you again, not as a rhetorical flourish, but as the key to unlocking this teaching. What would change if you lived each moment convinced that your purse could never be empty? Every word that follows in this message is meant to bring you into that unshakable knowing until you find yourself living it as naturally as breathing. Before we move deeper into the laws that govern supply, I want you to know exactly where we are going. For the Spirit has already shown me the moment you will take hold of the very words that will alter the landscape of your finances. By the time we reach the appointed place in this message, you will not only hear the sacred magic purse affirmation that Florence Scovel Shinn herself gave, but you will understand why it works unfailingly, how to speak it so that it vibrates through your entire being, and how to anchor it in your daily affairs until the purse, your outer one and your inner one, responds with visible, measurable, undeniable increase. I will show you how to use the purse as more than a container for coins and bills. It will become a holy symbol, a reminder carried in your hand of the limitless storehouse within your consciousness. You will learn the exact steps to infuse it with the magnetic current of divine supply, so that every time you touch it, open it, or even think of it, you trigger the law to release more substance into your experience. And you will not be left to wonder whether you've done it right, for you will see results sometimes within hours that will convince you the law is already at work. There will be a moment near the close of this teaching when you will speak the affirmation aloud with me, sealing it as your public decree, your sacred contract with the law of supply. From that moment forward, each time you open your purse, you will be reminded of that decree, and the flow will continue without interruption. Stay with me, for we are about to move into the foundation of this law, and once you grasp it, the affirmation will not be mere words, it will be the key that turns the lock on the treasure house of your abundance. The entire truth of your financial freedom can be compressed into the unshakable promises of Scripture. My God shall supply all your need according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus, and the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. These are not poetic niceties to be recited in moments of stress. They are statements of spiritual law, eternal in their certainty, as binding in their operation as the law of gravity in the natural realm. If God himself is your source, and he is, then the idea of lack is as foreign to your true nature as darkness is to the sun. The magic purse that Florence Scovel Shinn speaks of is not magic in the sense of superstition. It is the outward token of an inward truth. That your supply is infinite because its source is infinite. When you understand that the purse is but a symbol of your own consciousness, you cease to measure your wealth by the coins or bills it contains in the moment, and you begin to measure it by the inexhaustible stream that fills it again and again. I liken it to a spring-fed, well, the bucket may come up empty if it is unused, but the water beneath never ceases to flow. You can draw from it in the morning, at midday, and in the quiet of the night, and still it is as full as when you began. The purse, like the well, does not create its own contents. It receives from the hidden source, and the act of drawing only proves the source's abundance. This is why I tell you, stop guarding an empty purse as though it were your master, and start blessing it as your servant, the faithful carrier of the wealth your consciousness has called forth. And there is, beloved, one single line, a sentence of such perfect vibration that turns your purse into a living channel for divine riches, a line we will reach together, and when you speak it with understanding, the law will have no choice but to obey. Scarcity thinking is nothing more than a hypnotic spell, a mental fog cast by years of agreeing with appearances and repeating the mantras of lack taught by those who did not know the law. It convinces you that wealth is rare, that it belongs only to a select few, that it must be wrestled from the grasp of a reluctant universe. But the truth is far more astonishing and far more liberating. Your wealth is already yours, sealed within the vault of your divine consciousness from the moment God breathed life into you. This vault is not empty. It has never been empty. It is filled to the brim with ideas, opportunities, channels of provision, and actual substance ready to take form as money and resources. The only reason you have not withdrawn from it is because you have believed falsely that the key was lost, or worse, that you were unworthy to hold it. That key is faith. And faith is not a fragile hope, but a deliberate decision to agree with God's promise above every other voice. Picture this vault, heavy and immovable in the world of appearances, yet already unlocked the moment you place your hand, the hand of faith, upon its door. The tumblers click into place not because you force them, but because your belief aligns perfectly with the law that governs supply. Conviction comes when you realize you have been standing in front of the vault all along, blaming life for its emptiness while never turning the handle. Hope surges when you grasp that nothing and no one can keep it shut against a consciousness that insists on its divine right to abundance. Once you see this, lack becomes laughable, a shadow pretending to be substance. You do not beg shadows for light, you turn toward the sun. And so I tell you, turn toward the truth that your vault is full, that the key is in your possession, and that your magic purse is simply the portable extension of this eternal treasury. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it. This verse from Malachi is not merely about giving. It is about participation in the divine circulation, the unbroken movement of substance from God to you, through you, and out into the world, only to return multiplied. The windows of heaven are not far-off portals in some distant sky. They are the openings of your own consciousness, the points at which you allow the infinite to pour into your finite affairs. And the act of proving God is not a test of his willingness, it is the demonstration of your own alignment with his law. You prove the law by speaking in harmony with it, by affirming the truth of your abundance before your eyes can see it, by blessing the purse while it still appears empty, until your words and your faith have magnetized it to receive the pouring out that is already prepared. To speak to fill is to acknowledge that money is not drawn by need, but by recognition. It is to treat your purse as if it were already connected to the limitless storehouse, which in truth it is. Every declaration of fullness sends a signal to the subconscious, and through it to the infinite substance that you are ready, willing, and able to receive. And I tell you now, before we close this teaching, you will be given the exact purse-full sentence, the sacred line that Florence Scovel Shinn herself declared, and you will speak it with me in such a way that the windows of heaven will swing wide over your affairs. From that moment, the law will be set into motion, and you will not be able to keep the blessing from pouring in ways, through channels, and by means you could not have planned, yet all under grace and in perfect ways. There is no depletion in divine supply. Therefore, my purse cannot empty. Let these words settle into you as more than a hopeful affirmation. They are a decree backed by the full authority of spiritual law. Divine supply is infinite, eternal, and unchangeable. It cannot be exhausted, it cannot run dry, and it cannot diminish. It is not a reservoir that slowly drains as you draw from it. It is a spring-fed source, overflowing from the depths of the infinite, forever replenished because its nature is circulation. When you declare that there is no depletion in divine supply, you are aligning your thought with the reality that God's provision has no shortage, no delay, and no dependence on outer conditions. The purse in your hand may look small, the numbers in your account may seem fixed, but the law is not bound by appearances. If the source is inexhaustible, the channel your purse, your consciousness must reflect that truth once you accept it without contradiction. Say it aloud with me now, slowly and deliberately. There is no depletion in divine supply, therefore, my purse cannot empty. Speak it again, and as you do, imagine every false belief in lack dissolving like mist in sunlight. Feel the strength of those words, replacing the tremble of uncertainty with the poise of assurance. Each repetition is a hammer blow, breaking apart the old mental structures that taught you to expect decline and to fear running out. This is not wishful thinking. This is the conscious reprogramming of your subconscious mind, commanding it to release the record of emptiness and replace it with the law of perpetual fullness. From this moment, when you look at your purse, you will not see a container that can run dry. You will see a symbol of an unending stream, and that stream will respond to the image you hold. Speak it once more, anchoring it deep. There is no depletion in divine supply, therefore my purse cannot empty. This is your truth now, and the law must bear witness to it. We now move from denial into affirmation, for it is not enough to sweep the house clean of error, it must be filled with truth, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. To affirm is to plant new seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious, to speak as one who knows the harvest is already on its way. Let us establish the rhythm of constant inflow, for money is not meant to trickle in sporadically like drops from a leaky faucet. It is meant to flow as the great rivers flow, steady, abundant, and without interruption. Imagine the mighty current of a river, fed by countless streams and springs, always returning to the sea, never fearing that the waters will fail. This is the way of divine supply. It moves toward you from sources seen and unseen. It fills your purse and your affairs, and it returns again and again because circulation is its very nature. Speak with me now in the cadence of certainty. Divine supply flows to me constantly. Money comes to me in perfect ways. I receive with joy, I give with joy, and the flow returns to me multiplied. Feel the beat of these words, as you would the steady pulse of a drum. Let each repetition build the rhythm within you until your consciousness moves to it as naturally as your heart beats. You are not coaxing the river to flow. You are aligning yourself with its current, removing the rocks of fear and the debris of doubt so nothing impedes its movement. Each time you affirm, you strengthen the banks of your faith so that the waters can rise without overflow or loss. And as you live in this rhythm, receiving without guilt, giving without fear, you will discover that the inflow and the outflow are one. That to spend in faith is to invite the return, that every coin and bill you bless becomes part of the great circulation rushing back to you. Keep this river before your mind's eye, and let its unceasing flow be the picture that fills your purse, within and without, at all times. One of the most insidious blocks to the flow of money is the hidden fear that to receive is somehow to take from another, that your gain must mean another's loss, as though the supply were a fixed sum to be divided among the deserving. This lie has bound many souls in needless lack, for it creates guilt at the very point where joy should rise, and guilt is a closed gate through which no abundance can pass. Let me tell you plainly, in divine supply, there is no competition, no scarcity, and no theft. The wealth of the kingdom is inexhaustible, and when you receive from it, you do not lessen another's portion, you simply draw from the infinite store that is as available to them as it is to you. This is why the Master declared in Luke 6:38, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom." Giving and receiving are not separate events, but one continuous act, like the inhale and exhale of breath. You cannot give without receiving, and you cannot receive without having something to give. When you take a deep breath, you are not stealing the air from someone else. You are drawing from a source so abundant that it instantly replenishes itself. So it is with money in the hands of those aligned with divine law. The magic purse operates in this same principle. The more you bless it as full and release from it freely, the more swiftly it is refilled, for you have demonstrated your trust in the endless supply behind it. Begin now to renounce the thought that your prosperity could harm another. Say aloud, "My gain blesses all, my receiving opens the way for others to receive. I live in the endless circulation of giving and receiving under grace and in perfect ways." As this truth takes root, you will find not only your own purse swelling, but the joy of knowing that in divine mind, your abundance contributes to the abundance of the whole. There is, beloved, one sentence that will make your purse a magnet, drawing to it the visible form of supply as inevitably as iron is drawn to the lodestone. It is not a sentence born of human cleverness, nor is it a phrase to be recited casually like a charm. It is a line that vibrates with the truth of divine law, that tells your subconscious in no uncertain terms that you are ready, willing, and able to receive without limit. The moment you speak it in faith, you will feel a shift, subtle perhaps at first, like the turning of a key in a lock, and yet from that moment, the law begins its swift and perfect work. I will not unveil the sentence yet, for it must come to you when your consciousness is prepared to hold it without contradiction. But I will tell you this: every declaration we have made so far, every denial of lack and affirmation of fullness, has been clearing the static, tuning the frequency, and preparing the channel so that when you speak the sentence, it will strike the chord of immediate manifestation. And now, as a step toward that moment, I call you into your second spoken checkpoint. Stand if you can. Lift your purse in your hand, whether it is filled, nearly empty, or purely symbolic, and speak aloud with me. Divine supply flows to me now. My purse is a magnet for money. Every bill and coin it receives multiplies under grace in perfect ways. Say it again, and as you do, picture money moving toward you from every direction, coming through expected and unexpected channels, appearing in perfect timing, arriving in greater measure than you release. With each repetition, you are not simply hoping. You are instructing the law to conform your outer affairs to the inner image you now hold. This is how a magnet works. It does not chase the iron. It simply holds its nature, and the attraction is inevitable. Hold this nature now, and know that the final sentence, when spoken, will be the seal upon this magnetic current you are setting in motion today. Now we weave the truth into the fabric of your consciousness with layered declarations, for a single thread can fray, but a tapestry woven with many is strong enough to endure any strain. These declarations are the warp and weft of your new financial reality, each one reinforcing the others until there is no seam through which lack can slip. Speak them with me now, not in haste, but with the steady authority of one who knows the law, responds instantly to the voice of conviction. Money comes to me now, under grace, in perfect ways. Again, every channel is open, every need is met before I am even aware of it. Once more, the substance of God flows to me freely, abundantly, and without interruption. And to seal the sequence, all that is mine by divine right now appears with perfect timing and perfect ease. With each phrase, you are building a structure in the unseen, a framework into which the substance of supply can settle and take form. You are telling your subconscious, this is the pattern, and nothing else is permitted. And because the subconscious accepts what is repeated without argument, it will now act tirelessly to reproduce these declarations in your outer life. But before this pattern can hold without being undermined, we must address the old one, the insidious poverty spell that has been running like a background program in your mind, whispering that money is scarce, that wealth is for others, that need must always come before fulfillment. This spell was not cast by a sorcerer in a tower. It was sown by words spoken in ignorance, by thoughts inherited from those who lived outside the knowledge of the law. And just as it was woven in through repetition, it will be broken by the repetition of truth. As we step into the next section, we will strike at the very root of this falsehood, replacing it with a new, unbreakable pattern of prosperity thinking. The poverty spell has had its day, and its day is done. Before the mind can be filled with the steady song of abundance, it must first be cleared of the old, discordant tunes that have played in its halls for years, sometimes generations. These are the poverty programs, inherited beliefs about money that were handed down not as blessings but as burdens, often wrapped in the false virtue of resignation. You may have heard them spoken in your childhood home. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. It's selfish to want more. These phrases, repeated by those who loved you yet did not know the law, settled into your subconscious as commands, as limitations written into the very code of your thought life. And because the subconscious mind is obedient to whatever is planted in it, it has worked faithfully to make those statements true in your experience, even when your conscious mind longed for more. But you are not bound to live under these inherited edicts. Today, we bring the gavel of truth down upon them, and we strike them from the record. Stand in the authority of your divine sonship and speak this denial with me. Each word a hammer blow shattering the stone tablets of lack. I smash the record of lack. I dissolve every belief in poverty. I erase the false law that money is scarce. I renounce every lie about my worthiness to receive. Feel the power of these words move through you, as though a great wind is sweeping through the corridors of your mind, blowing away the cobwebs, scattering the dust, carrying out the broken remnants of every untrue thought. The room is being cleared, the air made fresh, the stage prepared for a new script to be written, one in which your purse is always full, your supply is always flowing, and your life bears witness to the abundance of the kingdom. This is the turning point, beloved, where the old program is not just paused, but permanently deleted, and once it is gone, the law will rush to fill the space with the truth that was yours from the beginning. Now that we have shattered the false record of lack, we must immediately replace it with the true record of supply, for the subconscious abhors a vacuum. If you do not fill the cleared space with truth, the old weeds will try to grow again. We will fill it so completely that there is no room for any return of the former lies. Let us call back to the images we have already planted in your mind, the spring-fed well, the sealed vault, and the great river, for these are not mere illustrations but living anchors for your consciousness. See again the well that never runs dry, fed from hidden sources deep beneath the earth, as you draw bucket after bucket and still it overflows. Picture again the vault, not cold and empty, but heavy with treasure, its great door swinging open at the sound of your faith, revealing wealth that was always there, waiting for your recognition. Feel again the pull of the river, steady and unhurried, carrying gold and silver in its current, returning to you again and again no matter how much you give from it. These are the pictures you must return to daily, for the mind responds to images more quickly than to abstract reasoning. And as we hold these visions, let us speak the affirmations that will fuse them into the bedrock of our subconscious. The well of supply within me overflows. The vault of my consciousness is open and full. The river of divine substance flows through me in an endless current of giving and receiving. Say them with the certainty of one, describing the scene before their eyes. For in the law of mind, to see it within is to set in motion its appearance without. Feel the satisfaction as you declare them, the inner nod of agreement that tells you the law has heard and obeyed. In this way, you are not just imagining abundance, you are authorizing it, directing it, and living in the stream of it right now. There is an old parable I have told to many who came to me in the grip of fear over money, and I tell it to you now, for its truth is as alive today as when it was first spoken. A woman once came to understand the law of the magic purse, but her purse was nearly empty. A few coins and a crumpled note were all she possessed. Yet, instead of cursing its barrenness, she chose to bless it each day. She would reach into the purse, and in her mind's eye, she saw there a single invisible coin, a coin that, according to her faith, could never be spent away. For the moment it left her hand, it would return multiplied. Each time she opened the purse to pay for something, she would say softly, "This coin returns to me increased, under grace, in perfect ways." She spent without fear, for she believed the invisible coin was as real as any metal or paper she could touch. And soon, something remarkable happened. Unexpected payments arrived, small sums at first, then larger. Gifts came through friends. Opportunities opened that brought in steady income. Her purse was never empty again, and she lived the rest of her days in the calm assurance that her supply could never be exhausted. The invisible coin had been, all along, the image of her faith, and the law had clothed that faith in substance. Now, beloved, I invite you into your third activation checkpoint. Take your purse in your hands, or, if you have none near, lay your hand upon your heart, for that is the true purse. Speak these words aloud, with all the trust you can summon. I hold the invisible coin of divine supply. It multiplies wherever I send it. My purse is full now and forevermore. Say it again, feeling the truth of it settle deep, until you can almost hear the soft chime of that coin in your purse, and know that wherever you go, it goes with you, calling its multiplied brothers and sisters back home. This is the sound of your wealth returning, and it will not cease. Now we settle into the deep, steady rhythm that imprints truth upon the very walls of your subconscious mind. For repetition is the chisel that carves the image of abundance so deeply that no passing doubt can mar it. We will speak a single sentence, again and again, until it becomes as natural to you as breathing, until it rises unbidden to your lips in the quiet moments of the day, and until your every action is taken from the certainty it carries. Here it is. My purse is always full. My supply is always flowing. Do not rush it. Let each word find its place. Let it echo in your mind as though spoken in a great cathedral, where the sound lingers and wraps around you. Say it once, and feel the calm assurance it brings, as though you had just checked your accounts and found them overflowing. Say it again, and see the mental image of your purse, whether of leather, cloth, or pure light, swelling with bills, coins, and the invisible currency of divine substance. Say it a third time, and notice how the fear of what if and what about begins to lose its grip, replaced by a warm sense of being held in an unending current of provision. As we linger here, allow the pace to slow, the breath to deepen, and the heart to rest in the knowledge that these words are not a petition but a statement of eternal fact. You are not calling something from afar. You are acknowledging what is already present and allowing it to appear in visible form. With each repetition, you are watering the seed of abundance we have planted today. And just as no gardener digs up the seed to check its progress, so you will not question how the supply will come. You will simply live as though it is already here, because it is. Let this be your meditation, your mantra, your undercurrent of thought. My purse is always full, my supply is always flowing. And in the quiet that follows, listen, the flow has already begun. We have rested in the slow, steady rhythm of truth, letting it sink into the hidden places. But now the time has come to build the current to a powerful surge, for there is a moment when quiet assurance must swell into bold declaration. You have spoken, my purse is always full, my supply is always flowing, and the seed has taken root. Now we speak as those who expect the harvest, not next season, but now. Let the energy rise in you as you declare, I cannot run out, I overflow continually. Again, with greater conviction, I cannot run out. I overflow continually. These words carry the vibration of the law itself, for circulation is the nature of divine supply. It does not deplete, it expands. It does not dwindle, it multiplies. Picture a great fountain in the center of a sunlit square, its streams arcing high, spilling into the basin, spilling over again onto the marble below, yet never running dry, for the source beneath the earth pushes more and more upward without end. This is your supply. Beloved, not a trickle, not a ration, but a continuous overflow that cannot be stopped by economy, circumstance, or human opinion. Each time you speak these words, you are not merely affirming, you are commanding your consciousness to hold the image of this fountain until it manifests in every corner of your affairs. Feel the shift inside the quiet faith of before now, joined by the fire of certainty, the thrill of inevitability. For soon, we will move into the most potent step yet, the calling of the money into your purse by direct command, a holy act of authority that leaves no room for hesitation or doubt. When that moment comes, you will not be asking, you will not be hoping, you will be summoning, and the law will obey. The current we have built is ready, the channel is clear, and the next step will release the flood. There is a vast difference, beloved, between the consciousness of a beggar and the consciousness of a steward. And until this shift is made within you, the flow you have called forth will always be met with the trembling hand of fear. A beggar looks upon money as an accident of fortune, a rare and fleeting windfall to be clutched, hoarded, and guarded against imagined loss. A steward, on the other hand, knows that every coin, every bill, every channel of income is part of the infinite trust placed in their care by the divine source. The beggar lives from scarcity, the steward lives from circulation. The beggar spends only when driven by necessity, looking behind them in dread of the purse growing lighter. The steward spends in alignment with wisdom and purpose, knowing that the act of releasing money in faith is the very signal that calls forth more. Today, I challenge you to make this exchange, to lay down forever the identity of the beggar, and to take up the mantle of the steward of abundance. This is not a shift of words alone, but of action. Before this day ends, choose one act of spending, no matter the amount, that you will do from faith and not fear. It might be buying a small gift for another, giving an offering where you are spiritually fed, or even purchasing something for yourself without the familiar shadow of guilt. As you do it, hold your purse in mind as the endless spring we have spoken of, and say within yourself, I am a steward of the abundance of God. What I release returns to me multiplied, under grace, in perfect ways. In that moment, you will feel the chains of the beggar's mindset fall away, replaced by the calm authority of one entrusted with infinite resources. For the steward is never anxious about what is spent, knowing the storehouse is limitless and the supply is sure. This, beloved, is the consciousness in which miracles of provision become everyday occurrences. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance, but from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. These words from Matthew 25:29 are not a sentence of cruelty, but a revelation of the law of increase, the spiritual principle that whatever is recognized, blessed, and put into circulation multiplies, while whatever is feared, hidden, and withheld diminishes. The beggar's mind hides its coins in the ground, terrified of losing them, and so the law of circulation cannot operate. The steward's mind releases with trust, and so the inflow expands to match the outflow. Picture your purse now as a living thing, not inert leather or cloth, but a vessel that responds to your faith like a muscle to exercise. Each time you use it in alignment with divine law, each time you give, spend, or invest with the consciousness of abundance, it grows, not only in the wealth it contains, but in its very capacity to receive. Imagine holding such a purse and finding that, after every purchase, it feels heavier, not lighter. That the more you release from it, the more it seems to swell in your hands. For the law has rushed to fill it before you even close the clasp. This is not fantasy. It is the precise operation of the law of increase, which responds unfailingly to the energy with which you act. If you give in fear, the purse contracts. If you give in faith, the purse expands. Begin today to treat your purse as the steward's instrument of increase, speaking over it each time you open it. I use this purse under grace, and it grows with every transaction. You will soon see the outer proof of this truth, as resources begin to return more swiftly, opportunities appear more frequently, and you walk in the deep peace of one who has learned that the more they release in love, the more they receive in abundance. There comes a moment in every spiritual student's journey when they must step fully into their authority, no longer speaking of supply as a distant hope or a possible blessing, but commanding it into form as the rightful heir of divine abundance. You have denied lack, affirmed fullness, reprogrammed the mind, and shifted from beggar to steward. Now you stand as one who issues decrees that the law must obey. Lift your head, straighten your shoulders, and let your voice carry the certainty of one who knows they are backed by the entire machinery of heaven. Speak it with me now. I command money to appear for me now under grace in perfect ways. Again, I command money to appear for me now under grace in perfect ways. You are not ordering the law to violate another's good, nor are you demanding from a reluctant God. You are summoning into visible form that which already exists in the invisible, moving it along the channels best suited to bless all involved. Feel the vibration of these words. They do not plead, they do not negotiate, they declare. And as you declare, the unseen begins to rearrange itself. Funds are released, debts are paid, opportunities unfold, and gifts arrive without strain. This is the posture of spiritual dominion, the stance from which miracles of provision become the natural order of your life. Hold this place of power, for in a few moments we will unveil the very sentence, the sacred magic purse affirmation that Florence Scovel Shinn herself gave, the line that, when spoken in this consciousness, turns your purse into a magnet for limitless supply. That sentence will not be given lightly, but when you receive it, you will know it is the seal upon all we have spoken, the final key that locks abundance into permanent circulation in your affairs. We now enter the quickened pulse of the affirmation sequence, where each line is a flash of lightning in the consciousness, illuminating the truth so vividly that no shadow of lack can remain. The first of these declarations sets the tone for all that will follow. The mind of God in me attracts money now. Pause and let the enormity of that truth sink into your spirit. You are not depending on human wit or worldly schemes. You are drawing from the infinite intelligence that created universes, ordered the stars, and formed every law that governs increase. This mind, the mind of God, is in you now, alive, active, and directing substance into your affairs. When you speak these words, you are not begging money to find you. You are acknowledging that your consciousness is the irresistible magnet, pulling to itself the forms and figures that meet every need and overflow into blessing others. Say it again, slower. The mind of God in me attracts money now. Let the word now anchor you in the present moment, for the law does not operate in the distant future, it moves in the eternal now, where your faith meets God's readiness. With each repetition, feel your magnetic field of thought expanding, like concentric circles rippling out on a still lake, drawing back to the center, the gold, silver, opportunities, and open doors already vibrating with your name. This is not magic in the sense of chance. It is the science of spirit, the precise action of like attracting like in the realm of mind. Hold this truth as a living reality, and know that with this one affirmation, you have aligned yourself with the inexhaustible stream that never ceases to answer those who speak in the voice of divine authority. The next affirmation plants a permanent image in the fertile soil of your mind. The purse of my consciousness is always full. This statement shifts the focus from the outer container, the leather wallet, the fabric bag, the bank account, to the true storehouse within, for it is the consciousness that determines what the purse will hold. If your inner purse is full of gratitude, full of expectancy, full of the unwavering knowing that supply is infinite, then no outer purse, however small, can remain empty. Speak it with me now, letting the words form a picture behind your closed eyes. The purse of my consciousness is always full. See it there, brimming with divine substance, so abundantly packed that its seams are taut with the richness of your supply. Every thought of fullness is another coin, another note, another resource slipping silently into that inner purse, and because the law of mind insists that the outer must match the inner, soon you will see the same fullness mirrored in your visible affairs. Say it again, but this time feel it not as a possibility, but as a fact, a present and unalterable condition of your being. This purse never sags with emptiness, never fears depletion, never dreads the next bill or expense. It is fed from the inexhaustible treasury of divine mind, where there is no counting and no loss. And as you walk through your day with this truth humming quietly in the background of your thoughts, every time you touch your actual purse or wallet, you will feel a subtle joy, a private smile of recognition, for you will know that you are only handling the shadow of a reality that is already complete. In this way, the purse of your consciousness becomes not only the source of your material supply, but the constant reminder that you live and move in an atmosphere of abundance from which you can never be separated. Now we fortify the gates of your abundance with the next declaration. No thought of lack can enter my supply. This is the spiritual guard at the door, the sentinel that keeps your storehouse secure against the intrusions of fear, doubt, and the hypnotic suggestions of a world steeped in scarcity thinking. You see, beloved, it is not enough to fill your purse with truth. You must also keep it from being pilfered by the thieves of negative thought. Every fear-laden statement, every mental rehearsal of not having enough, is an attempt to slip a counterfeit coin into your consciousness, a false idea that, if allowed to linger, can distort the flow of your good. But when you stand in this affirmation, you are declaring that your supply is a sanctuary, and only thoughts in harmony with abundance may enter. Say it with me now, firmly, as if placing a decree in the book of law. No thought of lack can enter my supply. Feel the authority of those words as they ripple through your mind, sweeping away every stray notion of insufficiency before it can take root. This is not a tense guarding born of fear. It is the calm, confident watchfulness of one who knows their wealth is under divine protection. Imagine your supply, the purse of your consciousness, the vault of your mind, surrounded by a radiant light, impenetrable to any suggestion of limitation. This light is the truth itself, and in its presence, lack cannot even approach, let alone enter. Hold this image as you speak the affirmation again, letting it strengthen the walls of your inner treasury until you know, beyond question, that nothing can diminish or dilute the flow of your good. In this way, you live not in reaction to the world's stories of shortage, but in mastery over them, untouched by the tide of fear, anchored in the endless ocean of divine provision. We come now to the capstone of this rapid-fire sequence, the affirmation that seals the circulation of your good. I spend in faith and receive in abundance. This single sentence contains the entire law of prosperity, for it unites the two poles of the divine current, giving and receiving into one seamless act. To spend in fear is to cut the circuit, to signal the subconscious that your supply is fragile and must be guarded at the expense of flow. But to spend in faith is to keep the current alive, to affirm with every transaction that you are part of an infinite system where release is always followed by return and return by overflow. Say it with me now, letting the rhythm of the words settle into your being. I spend in faith and receive in abundance. Feel the ease and openness in those words, no tension, no clutching, no bargaining with life. You are moving in harmony with the same law that keeps rivers flowing, seasons turning, and breath cycling in and out without end. Each time you give, you are not depleting your storehouse. You are exercising it, keeping it supple, strong, and ready to hold more. Each time you receive, you are not taking from another's portion. You are fulfilling the law that promises good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Visualize yourself handing money over for something you desire or need, your heart light and your mind serene, knowing that in that very moment, the law is already preparing the multiplied return. See it coming back in various forms: cash, checks, opportunities, gifts, each one marked with the unmistakable stamp of divine orchestration. Speak the affirmation again, this time with the feeling that it is already your daily reality. I spend in faith and receive in abundance. And as these words become the natural rhythm of your thought, you will find that the old fear of running out is replaced entirely by the joy of watching the law of circulation prove itself in your life over and over again. We have walked together through denial and affirmation, through the clearing away of poverty's old program and the planting of wealth's eternal pattern, and now we stand at the appointed moment, the unveiling of the sacred sentence that Florence Scovel Shinn herself gave, the key that turns the lock on the invisible storehouse and releases its treasures into visible form. Hear it and let it take root in the deepest chamber of your consciousness. I see my purse bulging with money, overflowing under grace in perfect ways. This is not mere imagery. It is a command to the subconscious, a vision so clear and so charged with faith that it compels the outer to obey. Bulging is the language of fullness beyond capacity, of overflow that cannot be contained. Under grace ensures that every channel it comes through is harmonious, right, and free from strain. In perfect ways guarantees that the timing, the manner, and the amount are all in divine alignment with your highest good. Speak it with me now, slowly, and see it as you speak the purse in your hand, heavy with provision, its clasp barely holding shut against the swell of bills and coins. The deep satisfaction of knowing that not a cent has come through toil or fear, but as the natural expression of the law of supply. Say it again, and as you do, feel your heart open to the reality that this is not a wish, not a fantasy, but the truth you are authorizing into form right now. Every time you open your purse from this day forward, let this be the vision you recall, the sentence you whisper, the decree that shapes your reality. For the law cannot refuse a consciousness that is fixed on overflow. And from this moment, your purse outer and inner will bear the mark of this declaration. Now that the sacred magic purse sentence has been revealed and spoken, we will seal it. For what is acknowledged in the heart must be anchored in action if it is to take permanent root. One of the most powerful ways to anchor a decree is to make it public, not to boast, but to testify before heaven and earth that you stand by the law you have spoken. This is why I am instructing you now. Take this exact sentence. I see my purse bulging with money, overflowing under grace in perfect ways, and type it in the comments as your sacred contract. When you write it, you are not merely engaging in a casual exercise. You are signing your name to a divine agreement, declaring to your subconscious, "This is the truth by which I now live." The act of typing it is a physical motion that impresses the statement upon your mind and commits you to it in a way silent thought alone cannot. And when others see your declaration, they are reminded that the same law is available to them, and their faith may rise as well, multiplying the current of abundance flowing through all who are aligned with this truth. Do not alter the sentence, do not soften it, do not add a condition to it. Type it exactly as it is, for its vibration is precise and its pattern exact. As your fingers form each word, imagine you are carving it into the foundation of your consciousness, where no wind of doubt or tide of circumstance can erode it. This is your seal, your contract, your holy agreement with the unfailing law of supply. Once it is done, you will find the words returning to you in the most ordinary moments, while you shop, while you pay a bill, while you place your purse on the table, and each time, they will call forth the visible proof of what you have claimed today. Beloved, understand that what we have done together is not a casual affirmation session, but a sacred ritual, and like all true spiritual acts, it must be sealed to hold its power. The decree you have spoken, "I see my purse bulging with money, overflowing under grace in perfect ways," is the seed, and the public declaration of it is the planting. But for that seed to take root and bear fruit, it must be sealed with reverence, as a covenant between you and the infinite source. This is why we do not mumble it and forget. We write it, speak it, and fix it in consciousness as a living truth. Sealing the law with your public decree is the act of saying to the universe, "This is established, this is irrevocable. This is the pattern by which my life now unfolds." It is the spiritual equivalent of signing a binding agreement, one not written in ink, but in the very substance of mind and spirit, where the law takes it as an order to be filled. Each time you return to your written decree, you will feel the charge of that moment, the alignment, the expectancy, the certainty, and that feeling is what keeps the channels of manifestation open wide. Treat this ritual with the gravity and joy it deserves. Perhaps light a candle, perhaps hold your purse in your hands as you speak and write it, perhaps pause in silent gratitude after it is done, knowing the unseen is already moving on your behalf. The sealing is the moment when hope becomes fact in your inner world. And because the outer is but a mirror of the inner, the manifestation is inevitable. Today you have done more than learn about the magic purse. You have claimed it, blessed it, and set it in perpetual motion under grace and in perfect ways. From this day forward, you will watch with heightened awareness, for the law we have set in motion will not wait for weeks or months to show itself. It will begin to reveal signs almost at once. You may notice unexpected deposits, gifts, opportunities, refunds, or open doors that seem to arrive out of nowhere, yet you will know they are the direct result of the decree you have spoken and sealed. And when these evidences appear, you will have the holy privilege of returning to share your testimony, for to tell it is to multiply it. Your words of proof will fan the flame of faith in others, just as their words will reinforce your own certainty. I urge you to come back to this very place, to comment again when the magic purse has shown itself in action, for this community of faith is part of the channel through which the flow continues. And this, beloved, is only the beginning. What we have done today is part one of a greater journey. You have learned how to call forth the fullness. In part two, we will learn how to guard it, to protect your purse inner and outer from the subtle leaks of doubt, fear, and careless thought. We will go deeper into the art of holding abundance so that it is not a passing visitation but a permanent resident in your affairs. I will reveal the hidden ways the purse can be drained without you even realizing it, and the exact spiritual practices to keep it overflowing without interruption. For now, hold your expectation high, your eyes open, and your words aligned with what you have claimed today. The magic purse is already at work, and the evidence will meet you sooner than you think. Return here and tell it when it comes, for your testimony will be both your praise and your proof. As we draw this sacred time to a close, I want you to carry with you the calm assurance that nothing in this universe can overturn the law we have activated today. You have spoken the decree, you have sealed it as your sacred contract, and you have aligned your consciousness with the endless stream of divine supply. From this moment forward, you walk not as one who hopes for abundance, but as one who knows it is their constant companion. Let your steps be steady, your words consistent, and your vision fixed on the truth we have established together. Your purse is full, your supply is flowing, and your good is appearing under grace in perfect ways. I leave you with a hidden keyword, one that will be your signal to me and to this community that you are ready for the deeper teaching in part two. That word is overflow. When you return, whether tomorrow or in the days to come, bring this word with you in your comment, along with your testimony. It will mark you as one who has not only heard but acted, one who has moved from theory into demonstration. This word will open the next chapter of your journey, where we will go beyond calling forth your supply into the holy art of guarding it so it remains ever increasing. For now, go in peace and confidence, knowing the law is working now, and that each time you touch your purse, you touch the symbol of a reality that can never fail you. Keep the decree on your lips, the vision in your mind, and the gratitude in your heart, and watch as your life begins to mirror the abundance you have claimed. Until we meet again, remember, the overflow has already begun.